Hello and good morning. We are here in our Zoom room and we have some interesting guests here. My name is Jörg Altekruse. I'm from Hamburg and the host is Youth for Planet. At first I will show you a video with the founder of Earthday, Jon McConnel.
If you decide right now, today, anybody listening to this program, that they are going to try to be a trustee of planet Earth, and reinforce that by their religious faith or by whatever means they can.
Do you think we have at our hands the possibility of creating an Earth political, economic system that could be predicated on something other than the general assumption of scarcity?
I feel that the people who are experiencing awareness, deep felt awareness of our planet and our responsibility to be trustees and caretakers of it, and then who are thinking about how they can demonstrate the alternatives in providing food and homes and energy. We can have clean energy now. The solutions are here, but we're neglecting them. And on the other hand, technology, the improvements that we enjoy in a good American home can be not only widespread, but can cover the planet. I remember Bucky Fuller saying some of the studies that he'd made in their computer studies that every family on Earth could have the equivalent of a $50,000 a year income if we were using our knowledge and our resources in a practical way.
Actually, these were great dreams already 33 years ago. And now, Franz, you can say something about their background and the history and what the future will bring us.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jörg. I would like just to stress the fact that Jon was not only a visionary, he was also an ambassador, a messenger, an organizer, a journalist. And he had this one message that you have just heard, and he wanted to bring it out in a way that is heard by many people. And he was already writing a very notified piece when the Sputnik was shot by the Soviet Union, and he did not want that to create fear, but let's say he said, let it make a star of hope. So in 1969, he suggested to some members of the San Francisco City Council that they celebrate an Earth Day at the beginning of spring, because he had experience in Persia that all these religions and different cultures came together for this one moment of unity, Nowruz. And so they called it Earth Day. For the first time, the name Earth Day was used there. After this suggestion was positively received, Cynthia Wayburn of the Earth Day Committee presented the idea and also the flag of the Earth, which you see here at our peace bell hanging here in Vienna. This was also designed by McConnell at a UNESCO conference, Man and Environment, in November '69. As a result of this, Earth Day was first celebrated in San Francisco in 1970, 50 years ago. Unfortunately, in the following year, the environmental teach-in at American universities also changed its name to Earth Day, and right from the start, a confusion arose, which also expresses its. On one side, it is widely recognized that the international environmental movement was brought together by this 22nd of April Earth Day, and thus found a common identity. This is a kind of sort of justification, but at the same time, the Earth Day of Jon McConnel wanted to bring together three elements: peace, justice, and care for the earth. So these two elements, peace and social justice, which Jon McConnel wanted to unite with environmental care, have been marginalized. This has only recently been corrected again with the SDGs and Agenda 2030. But we had it already on the agenda 50 years ago. If we now understand, we understand the significance of Jon McConnell's idea. And also the UN Secretary General U Thant understood it, because he took up this idea and proclaimed Earth Day worldwide for the beginning of spring, and it was observed from 1971 at the Equinox moment, as now, at the United Nations headquarters. And John had the idea to combine this with ringing the bell that had been placed in 1954 as a gift from the Japanese Association for United Nations to be rung in a ceremony each year. This particular bell in New York that you just saw was melted down from coins collected from young people from 60 nations in 1951. The value of the ceremony is its simplicity. As Margaret Mead, the famous ethnologist, had put it, it is a moment that is not imposed by one culture on another. It is rather a symbol that we find in each and every culture and traditions, and we come together on an equal base. So this is this wonderful combination. It also symbolizes the moment of new beginnings, the moment of resurrection, of restart, and the bell is a symbol of connectedness, of resonance. So I personally met John in 1993 at the Human Rights Conference, and 3 years later, on the initiative of Hans Janicek, when in 1995 a bell was also donated to the Vienna International Center, we started to ring the bell in Vienna. And yes, I'm very sad that it takes so long to make something like this, such a beautiful idea manifest, but we will never give up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Franz. Now I'm asking Farah, another veteran of the Earthday. When did you actually go to your first Earthday? And what was your experience? We have only 6 minutes left now.
I met Jon at the CLUB of Budapest in Budapest, in the city, and that was 97, I think. And I remember him a very nice and humble person, and very dedicated for the earth and what he wants to do. Well, after that, we had some celebrations here in Berlin. I remember especially one in a park in East Berlin, where we have a bell remembering Hiroshima. And so we did a celebration there, and there were also some other occasions in those days.
Okay, thank you very much, Farah. And HEiner, you were there many, many times.
I was informed about the Star of Hope when I organized in '91 the International Space Year in not only in Munich and Pasadena. And there were some astronauts we also had later in the CLUB of Budapest. I was involved since '95 with Farah in the World Peace University, and there it became very clear that Robert Mueller was the leading person behind. Robert Mueller was Deputy Executive General, Secretary General, and we celebrated it in Berlin, in Geneva, in Vienna. I twice was there in New York. I was a traveler, and his dream of having with Margaret Mead, having with Equinox the idea to really bring all the nations, not just the Japanese and the Irani and the South Americans together, and really celebrate not when it's best barbecue time, but exactly when Equinox starts. And he was very sure to involve the peace bell, because the bell of hope, as the Japanese have been doing, was very important after the war to have a moment of silence. So in a nutshell, my thing, it was to bring overview from the astronauts, that was the first pictures of the Earth, and orientation together to do something against all the overclaims and oversimplifications in the world. And that was very important. I do not remember all the events, but we have great recordings from Geneva, because this Geneva site with the UN was the kickoff of all these signs of hope. This was Vienna. Yes, this was Vienna. And there should be also pictures, again, Vienna and Berlin. So you see, I have a black mustache at that time. And there on the right, it's Geneva with Nicola from the Earth Focus Foundation. And it's in a beautiful park, and it's the spring and the trees in full blossom. So it's a really great ceremony. And we have this Shinagawa bell with the Swiss ambassador to the UN, and in Tokyo, we have celebrated it, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Now the countdown for the gong. It's 4:48, and at 4:49, we will be listening to Jim. Just asking Franz, what do you think the future of Earthday will be? Will this kind of celebration become more important in the future? My feeling is that it will become more important.
I think it's inevitable, you know, although we have seen it marginalized for so many years and observed by so few. The richness of the concept is so compelling. Jon was a person that was optimistic to human possibilities. And I think now, only a few months ago, we began to understand, elaborate that it is not enough to create sustainability. It is more than that. We are beyond sustainability. We are in the responsibility as humankind to contribute to the regeneration of the earth. And these are very, very modern thoughts which go far beyond the traditional ecological thought which ruled man out. And this is exactly the mindset that Jon always had. So I think it's inevitable that this man will be recognized as the one who wanted to bring in the potential of humans in terms of even measuring and understanding the cosmos, with this technology, this moment, to understand this very moment, to connect all of us. You know, all these wonderful abilities that we have to put in service to the earth. And that is inevitable to recognize Jon McConnel as a visionary.
I must say, this Robert Jung, this futurist, got me together, and there with the 4 futures, we try to bring together the Fridays for Futures, the Science for Futures, the filmmakers for futures. And so even when we have all these technological challenges and hazards, I think we should not give up the sign of hope and action.
Thank you very much to all of you. I think this was a very moving Earth Day 2020, the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And I think this has still a great future to come if people really pick it up as something, as a mission of hope and a message that can travel around the planet and actually have other cultures getting involved as well.